All right, what's up? This is the All or Nothing Show. My name's Austin, and these are the boys for the day.
The boys.
The boys. Getting bent with the boys. This is Griffin, Brock. I introduced y'all. Didn't let y'all do that yourself.
Yeah.
It's my show. And we're going to be going over a few different topics, but first we're starting it off today, of course, with a energy drink review and tasting. Fellas, let's crack them open.
Start your engines.
Yeah. Ooh. That's kind of in unison.
All right, so this is Ray's Baja Lime. They have not tried it. I've tried a few Ray's before. I haven't tried this flavor.
Which, first off, the label looks pretty cool.
Yo, this will...
A lot of credit to the label.
I will say this would stand out on any other drink out there if it was in the same case, which it did when you walked up to it at Vitamin Shop, which I got these from Vitamin Shop. I think it's like one of the only places that carry it right now. But, yeah.
Have you guys had any kind of like Baja, like, flavor thing? I haven't. So I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Taco Bell.
Well, I know Taco Bell
Mountain
has...
Dew.
Yeah, they're... But what does that taste like?
Limey.
Like, I know what Mountain Dew tastes like.
Limey Mountain Dew, like extra lime.
Oh, extra lime.
Maybe like a little... I don't know. It definitely wasn't just lime.
Because it's like a teal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it kind of tastes like, you know, those tropical Skittles or like that kind of thing.
I'm usually not a big fan of tropical flavors, but I feel like I might like this. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like you would. It's refreshing. Anything cold and carbonated is refreshing.
All right, boys, let's go ahead and get these things wet. Already like it.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to... This
Yeah,
tastes like
good.
some
That's
form
good.
of Slurpee. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
This takes me back to like third grade.
Why?
Friday afternoon after school, going to 7-Eleven.
Why do I get grape in there?
It's great. Yeah, there's grape.
Lime with grape.
Yeah, what are the notes?
There's lime. There's grape.
Should we cup it?
Maybe like a
Should brought the spoons.
like a hint of blueberry, maybe.
Yeah.
And a little bit like maybe that's
You're
where the
going-
sweetness
you're
is
Yeah,
coming
don't
from.
go too far. This was injected out of a machine in a lab.
Not homemade.
It was, yeah. They kept the skins on for a little extra longer. Yeah, flavors banging. Carbonation
It's enjoyable.
Carbonation isn't too crazy. I'd
Yeah.
say definitely in the medium, the mid zone.
Yeah.
The Raises, I feel like, are always a little bit more lightly carbonated. Because I've had the other flavors, and I would say I always kind of use Bang as like the control.
Yeah.
You're right, dude. You're right.
So I would say it's a little bit lesser carbonated.
Yeah, I feel like this isn't gonna like eat up your throat at all. Like something like a Bang, like you said, would.
But it's enough to kind of give you that little tingle in the mouth.
Tingle in the jingle.
Yeah, a little tingle in your throat.
Yeah, so I have a new list, a testing or rating list that sort of me and Brock really quickly went over. Carbonation, flavor, and finishing taste.
Or aftertaste.
For most people, aftertaste. For the scum.
Yeah.
For people that don't know what they're talking about, that's aftertaste. So carbonation, medium level. It's not too much. Not light, though. Not super light. I've had lighter with some of the 3Ds before. Flavor, fucking knockout for me. For real, off the top of my head, going with it, I go with grape Skittle, purple Skittle, and OG lime Skittle. Like, it tastes like Skittles.
Yeah.
Kind of to
That's
me.
a good comparison.
Yeah, like kind of like before you kind of chew the Skittles and you're just kind of like getting them wet in your mouth, you know, when the
Until
flavor's
the
coming off.
coating comes off.
Yeah, until the coating
Yeah.
comes off, like that kind of like sweetness, that tropical flavor.
And not a bad aftertaste. It's still like...
My
has
only
good
thing
flavor.
though is you can tell me is like, do you think? I mean, I would say I'd buy this again at some point, but it's not like I'm gonna grab it every time I'm in the store. It's
What?
not like a go-to.
I'm not going to drive out of my way to Vitamin Shop to get it.
Yeah.
If it was at the gas station and there was Bangs, I would alternate through it for sure.
Yeah, it's in the
Bangs,
the
Monsters.
routine. Yeah, in the
But
center.
but it wouldn't be like my go-to.
I would agree. There are certain ones I feel like that are, you know, you always kind of, we talked about this yesterday, but like certain things like the apple Bang or other things like that are kind of those juicy, like, you know, you're going to enjoy that first sip.
Yep.
But then there are some also that I feel like are more casual sippers that you'll still look forward to, but it's not like I wouldn't pick it first out of the bunch. But if I was at like a gas station or something and I had it, I would re-crack it open and kind of be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this
Yeah,
one. This is enjoyable.
I feel like I won't get tired of this after like drinking the whole thing though. But with that said, like I don't think I'm gonna drink it over. Like I wouldn't buy it multiple times, probably within a week or a month or something like that. Like you said,
I'm different.
You like
But I'm different. Yeah, I mean, I do like it, but
I think
it still
it's just
isn't
tropical
top
flavors are
one.
hard to like nail to make it something that I won't get sick of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I bought a case, I wouldn't finish it.
Yeah, I wouldn't get a case. Yeah,
That's always a good standard too. If you bought a case, would you be sick of
that's
it?
a good
by
way to
the
put
end?
it.
I probably would. But I would enjoy the first. I would have to alternate for sure.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, let's throw the numbers out there. Griffin, we've bumped the scale up to 10 now, 0 to 10. There is such a thing as 0. And there is such a thing as 10, but it's mystical.
On
Haven't
all
seen it.
factors.
All factors.
Okay.
And trying to relate to other drinks you've had in the past. Bangs, monsters, rains, whatever. Give it a go. I'd like to hear y'all's first, then I'll give the host's score.
Means double.
I would say probably a. Are we doing points?
Points, yeah.
Okay, I
We're
would
getting
probably,
serious.
probably say a 7.8.
Oh, I was gonna say 7.6.
Yeah.
It's not quite an 8 for me. An 8, I feel like, is like it's how I describe it to Maddie is like, or just people in general. I feel like 5 to like under 7 is like average, just enjoyable enough, like where I'm not gonna like throw it away. And then like 7 to 8 is like that good range. But then if it's like an 8 and up, I feel like that means great. And if it's great, then I feel like I want it somewhat consistently.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going with the 7.6 because it's good. But I don't think I'm gonna leap for it, like you said.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm going 7.9.
I thought you were gonna say 10.
No. Fuck no. Dude, 10, like, when I talk to people about 10, like, 10 is mystical. Like, there isn't such a thing. 10, like, is perfect. Like, I would never go away from it. Like, that's the way I see a 10.
Water.
Yes, water. Or Gymflo. But, but yeah, very good job, Ray's energy. And, yeah, look forward to trying the others. But, yeah, so I had some topics to go on over today. But, yeah, we can get into those in a little bit. What have y'all been doing this morning?
Almost the same thing because he came over this
Yeah,
morning.
we hit legs at 8. And then after that, I went to Costco, got gas, got groceries.
I was wondering where you were going because I was like, we're both going to get on the interstate going essentially the same way. And I saw you like skip the interstate. I was like, maybe he doesn't want me driving right behind him.
Yeah,
or, like,
I can't have you
this guy?
following me. I don't want you to know I'm having an affair.
Yeah.
What's this guy doing?
Was there a line at Costco?
Well, we stood under a tent because it
'cause
was
it's raining.
raining, but it's like this defeats the purpose of your stupid social distance.
Did they have it?
You're nut to butt out there.
Did they have it taped off from like 6 feet from each person?
No, I
they
was
did
like
it some like
between
Chipotle
us,
has it. Oh,
under
Yeah.
the tent. With
But when
two
you're
other
inside, you're
people.
distancing, though. But outside, you can be nut to butt, and it's okay.
Yeah,
Somehow.
Nut to butt.
and so although there wasn't a line because I forgot they open at 10, so I got there at like 10:10.
Oh, that's
much.
perfect. Yeah.
I had to do that at Walmart.
I did that at BJ's like weeks ago when like the quarantine first happened. I got to BJ's when I think they opened at like 10, and I got there like 8:30 after work, and I was like, Maddie, they closed down BJ's. I was like, it's closed, and she was like, oh wow, this is crazy, and I was like, oh wait, never mind, the hours were like 10 a.m. because there was no one in the parking lot. I was like, this is wild. Yeah. But,
I think actually a lot of stores they open an hour earlier than normal.
Yeah,
for the
they do.
senior hour.
For the boomers.
yeah. I don't know about you guys, but ever since like the boomer meme's been like common, like anyone like 35 and up is just a boomer to me.
Yeah, kind of, but
There is a meme online that is the 30-year-old boomer that plays Rush and like what is that? Fortunate Son and like sips a white monster and is grilling.
yeah. But as far as like other things, what did y'all train for legs though?
Well, now that we got the rack in, it's been nice because we can do back squats, and so we've been able to do heavier back squats. And so this week we did 245 again, like we did last week. We did sets of 8, which wasn't hard for us, but it becomes cardio after 6 reps.
Yeah.
We should have done 250 now that you got the 2.5.
I know. I got a little 2.5, so mainly for my bench press because I was like, my bench press is like slow enough progress. So I was like, I just want to be able to make some progress. So I need the 2.5 just to feel like good about myself.
Yeah. And then I was appreciative that we were able to take a little break from front squats today.
Oh,
So we did Jefferson's.
I'm sure y'all been
instead.
burning those up.
So
Last week we did back squats, front squats, Jefferson squats.
What other squat can we do?
Yeah, it was like brutal. Like both of us were sore until like Friday. So
God dang.
yeah,
Well, good. I still didn't get the invite this morning.
I told you
I
9
know,
a.m.
I'm just
well,
messing,
8 or
man.
9 a.m.
Well, yeah, I was
Yeah.
definitely training still then, but
we
it's
had
okay.
daylight savings.
Yeah,
Change it
yeah.
up, right? I was surprised because when I woke up to see that you texted me after 10. You've really gone out of your element with this quarantine.
I will
I'm
say.
waking up earlier than
We
him
actually
now.
went to bed right at 10. The text was sent at like 10:06 because I actually sent it from like my Apple Watch like 9:30. We went to let Dobie out, but then my watch wasn't close enough to my phone, so it didn't send. So it sent late. But point is, yeah, my schedule is a little fucked up. Like instead of going to bed at 9, waking up at 5, I'm like 10 and 6 now. Or
So
even
much
worse.
for grinding, man.
Yeah, us
I know.
on unemployment are being more disciplined.
I
than
know.
We've got discipline. We
I
make
know.
sure we wake up for our checks around here.
Yeah.
you. I know.
I don't even want to talk about the fucking unemployment check that I'm not getting. God. What are you grabbing?
So I had a list of shit that
I was gonna talk
about.
I
I didn't know if you were grabbing your
sorry.
grocery list.
It's kind of a late night, so I
Yeah.
called it my shit list because I was just like writing other shit.
You told me yesterday you get some good topics.
Yeah,
wanna
I
hear
do.
it.
Well, it's mainly supplement based, but I'd like to definitely talk, about anything. Obviously, that we can get our minds dug into. But I did do Speaking of my list, I did do. Fuck, I keep saying I did do. Like I'm just like on repeat. I did do. I've been messing around with the text messaging platform or like marketing app for the site, and I don't know what I'm doing with it. So I've been watching a few different YouTube videos on it and stuff like that, going to school per se, and still after like 2 hours of watching videos, I'm like, man, I'm clueless.
What's the website or company or that they're running it through?
So for Shopify, the one that I use is called SMS Bump, and they have a free platform for it, and you can obviously pay or upgrade. The free one, you can send text, you can receive text, I believe. You can do some light marketing with it, like abandoned cart checks, like sort of send you a text for abandoned cart notification.
Yeah.
I can just blast text messages just for like, hey, flash sale, which I just tried it. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm tired of watching these videos. I'm just going to learn from doing it. So I put together a little flash deal last night, and it was free shipping till midnight. And I thought I had everything in a row, late night, and definitely shouldn't have hit it because I did not have everything in a row. So I hit it, and then I looked at the site, and I was like, damn, the site's lit up right now. I had a good amount of people on the site all at once, like within minutes after that text. When I do newsletters, like email newsletters, there might be 11 to 13% open rate, and you might see one person get on the site after that, maybe, and like link clicks and shit like that are in the dumps. But text seemed like I only have like 30 people on it as of now. It was damn near 100% open rate.
Dang.
And then I forgot how many open clicks.
People like me, they hate those notifications. They just want to open.
Yeah, they're like, yo, what does it say? Email, you don't open it, but text, you're going to at least open it if you don't click on the link inside of it. But most people did, went straight to the site, had a few sales come through, but the first ones that started coming through were Overcome. And so we're already losing money on Overcome. That's what I want to talk about.
And it's expensive to
Yeah,
ship.
it's expensive to ship and expensive to make, and we're already selling it for cheaper than it costs to make it. And then, listen, a good amount of people, when I'm saying good, it's like 2 or 3 people, got it completely for free, plus free shipping. Because they had discount
What
codes
a
saved.
deal. Dang, this is like couponing.
Yo, who wants money? we were
It's
giving
like
it
we're
away.
gonna have to owe them.
Serious. I started laughing. I was like, no. So I immediately pulled Overcome from the site after I started seeing, because I didn't know how to like stop it. I was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out how to like get around Overcome. So I was like, screw it. I'm just
Your
gonna pull
own
Overcome.
creation.
Yeah.
It started biting me back.
Against you, yeah.
I was like,
Now, when
no.
I didn't get the text, although I know I have an account on.
So if you haven't gone back in since I added the consent form
you
to
have
the
to
site,
accept
you have to
it.
re-accept
Okay.
it now, knowing to be compliant. You don't. I mean, if I wanted to be, I could have just not done it and just ripped people's numbers off. But I'm trying to be cool about it and not be a dick. But so as of right now, I only have like 30 people that have previously made orders since I've done hooked it up. So I'm sure it'll start to fill up more and whatnot. And you can, I believe there's a link in the site. So if you do go to it, you should be able to, without even checking out, be able to like add your number to the site if you want to start accepting obviously deals and exclusive stuff, cool stuff via text. But yeah, so a bunch of people were getting free overcomes plus free shipping. I was like, damn, dude, nice. But I learned. Obviously, you got to learn. You can do anything once. Hopefully, you learn from it after that. And
Fool me once.
yeah, you got me. But whatever, I'm gonna hold to my word. I'm gonna still ship them out. I'm not gonna bitch or anything like that. Which I guess I just did a little bit, but it was my bad. So that was one thing that I was dealing with recently and learning with. There's a lot of shit going on with like all the different type of marketing, man. I am oblivious to like all the different apps and text messaging.
Marketing's hard, and I feel
It's
like some
crazy.
of the stuff, though,
like you
it's
need
like,
somebody that know. Like I would need to hire, like to really be killing it. Like I'd need to hire somebody that
so you
knows.
find
that
an
shit.
intern.
Yeah, that's just. Well, I watched since I did the Barstool thing, and I would definitely want to talk about that. Sending the product up to Dave Portnoy. I got like a rabbit hole of Barstool Sports videos and the interns that they've had in over the years since like 2010, 2011, and it's like, damn, that's the way to go. Free work,
Yeah.
I mean, you might get some idiots here and there, but like it's free, and if they're cool, you can end up hiring them.
Yeah, I feel like eventually, like, with what we plan to do, whatever, hiring a marketing, dedicated person is like the way to go. Like, I think I want to make my own content. I feel like comfortable making the content for like the marketing, but as far as like how to target on Facebook or Instagram, like what demographics to use. Like, I know what demographic like we're looking for, but like what demographics actually going to click? How do you change that, from Facebook to Instagram, or how many dollars do you want to spend per day? Like all this stuff, it's like just goes completely over my head. And then with like a newsletter too, it's like I feel like that's outdated, but at the same time, like it is really effective to still. People do check their emails and open through there.
I open mine.
But it's, I feel like text message is probably more the way to go. Because I get them too sometimes from companies I don't even buy from anymore. I don't remember accepting anything. But, like Blackstone Labs or something, I get a text and it's like 33% off. Like, use this code. It's so easy to just click the link, use the code. So I think that's like the way to go. But yeah, as far as like marketing, it's like such like a vague and broad word that covers so much. But it just like completely goes over my head.
And I'm sure that you guys are the same way, but I feel like outside of our area of interest, there are certain things that we are like a skill set that, like you're interested enough to learn what to do to get by sort of thing.
Yes.
To where like for me, like I usually like photo and video, but like, I'd like to learn some stuff with animation or with graphic design or other things like that. But, like certain things like marketing or search engine optimization or other things like that, it's like I could not care less. And also, like, I don't even want to start cracking that egg at all. Like, I'd rather just pay somebody to do that.
I don't want to either. Like, dead serious. I downloaded the software for the SMS bump, but like 3 weeks ago. Finally, last night I started dabbling. Well, probably Friday, started dabbling with it and looking into it a little bit. I was like, God, I was like pulling teeth to try and open up a video to watch it. I was like, oh, this sounds so boring. Like, it sounds so like automated, which it is. I hate automation is definitely good, and it is the way to go for, I guess, efficiency and like reaching the masses. But I would rather, I don't know, I don't like it. I'm not in love with it, so that's why I just had to pull teeth to do it.
Yeah.
Which isn't good. Because then I'm not going to give it, like, I just know deep down I'm not going to give it my all.
My problem, too, is, like, with advertisement or marketing, it's, like, all the stuff that, they tell you that works or what to do, it's, like, I never click on, like, sponsored ads or sponsored videos on Instagram. I swipe right through them. I ignore them. Maddie, even, she tells me, like, when she sees, like, certain billboards or advertisements or commercials, whatever, she doesn't even remember them because she zones out that much. It goes like completely like past her, and so like I find trouble making these ads or like marketing my content if I don't even like fall for that stuff or like click or review that stuff. So it's hard for me to kind of like see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I was telling Landon that the other day that with a lot of stuff you almost have to avoid everything that's on a billboard or commercial because it's like. any medication is just this list of side effects, but it's got like the old man like dancing with his wife, and it's like sometimes with this stuff like you're worse off than you were before.
Yes.
So it's funny that like for the things that are actually beneficial, you have to kind of seek them out on your own, and it's not something that's going to be marketed towards you. Or even like a good pre-workout. Like, I mean, a lot of these things, let's say like I've heard before that like certain marketing tactics are almost to like make you think. When I say razor, what company comes to mind?
Like Motorola.
Or like
Gillette.
shaving razor.
Gillette.
Yeah.
Gillette.
When I say
I get Motorola's dead, so like I don't know why I even mentioned
I
that.
don't know why
Like
you
they're
said
dead.
when I say
Sorry.
mouthwash,
Boomer.
what comes to mind?
Crest.
Crest,
Really?
not
Listerine?
Listerine.
I would've
Yeah.
said
So a lot of this
'Cause I
stuff
have
I feel
Crest.
like is to kind of is
I am horrible.
At least you didn't go
It's true.
equate.
Yeah.
I am a horrible guy to ask.
So I feel like it's interesting because sometimes, not saying that those particular products, but certain things like pre-workout, like what's like your
Gymflo.
typical
C4.
pre-workout that you think of. Yeah, C4
Get
or
'em
something
outta
like
here.
that, because that's just the like staple. So
Yeah.
sometimes figuring out like the side, I don't know, more niche.
Yeah, I tried to
elements
read a
of it.
book on, I think it's called Positioning, and it was about like how to kind of establish yourself or position your brand or company to like kind of be associated in that kind of manner. But again, like how to get from A to B with like that is just I don't know. I just leave marketing to the other the people that are into it.
Yeah, and speaking like of when you were scrolling through ads, I think people have gotten numb because Instagram, especially Instagram and even Facebook, like both platforms have just bombarded and allowed, which obviously they're accepting money, so they're getting paid. So yeah, I'm gonna allow whatever. If you pay, I'm gonna throw it up in people's faces. But it's like you're almost like numb to the ads now. Like when you see them, you just scroll right past. Like it used to be like, oh, you get an ad every so often. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it was a cool video or like something like entertaining, but now there's just so many pictures and like random stuff. Like it's like second nature. Just it's ad,
Yeah, I
sponsored.
think
Once
it's
you see,
every
once you
post.
see, once you see sponsored,
Yeah.
like it's like you swipe so quick through it. So now, not that I know anything about fucking marketing. I am average Joe, hardcore. I'd rather just make fun shit or cool shit, and hopefully it bangs. Like the recent video we just did
Yeah, I feel
yesterday.
like that's
that
a sweet
motherfucker
video,
is
yeah.
banging right now.
It
Oh,
is.
really?
You should- I was gonna tell you should probably if it has like a good like thumbnail. I was gonna say like promote it, throw a couple.
Yeah, I'm
bucks
probably
at it,
going
yeah.
to because it's perfect. Like it's relevant, it's current. It's like
Which if
so
you haven't seen, go to
Yes.
Gymflo's Instagram
And
uh,
Or
also,
YouTube.
Or
I feel
YouTube,
like
yeah.
too, the nice things about those kind of marketing videos or stuff that we do sometimes is like the product is an element of it, but it's not like it's
Ding.
not the cherry at
ding,
the
ding,
end
ding.
sort of thing.
Yes, it's not like buy Gymflo.
Yeah.
It's like it's in there. It's funny. It's entertaining. People laugh.
If
they-
you like the video about the product.
it connects. I don't know. It's relevant. And it's just comedic, funny. So I'd rather double down, at least in Gymflo, the brand. I'd rather double down on shit like that because it's fun for us, obviously, and then it's also just engaging. People just, like I said, relate. They either share it with their friends, tag their friends. It just gets. I've just seen it gets a ton more engagement than any ads that I've ever done. Which I've done ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. I'd say last year or the year before, I dabbled with them hard. And when I say hard, it's all relative. I probably blew a little over $1,500 in ads and might have gotten $300, $350 back in return sales. And that was like trying many different, fucking groups, demographics, interests, age groups.
My always concern is like, yeah, when you put in that money too, like you want to make sure the ad's gonna like have that return on investment too.
Yeah,
because like that's what like what makes you nervous because you might be like, well, this seems like it bangs, but then when you actually put money into it, it does. That's why like the few ads that I've done, like on like my personal Instagram, I've like made a rule to where if like, because my video is if I do a good mobility video, I might get like 200, 300 saves, but if it hits like 500. Then I'll throw money at it. It's like my new rule.
It's like a test.
Yeah, because I did
A/B
that.
test
Yeah,
almost.
because like if it's gonna do good on its own, then it'll probably do even better if I put money into it.
Yeah.
And so like I did that on I think the one I had that was like 500 or something. This was like months ago, and I think it got to like I don't know what it was, but somewhere in like the thousands of saves or something like that because like I knew it was working. But versus like another post that is not gonna like. It's not already not doing well on its own. Then once you throw money at it, it doesn't work any better.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a crappy like training program. You just throw steroids at it, Well, it might actually still kind of help, but
Might get big, might not get
but
big.
not as good. Yeah.
It is interesting because I feel like you've tried different strategies over the years, and I'm sure it's hard to not feel like it's just like throwing spaghetti on the wall. Because I remember when I would go to like District Barbell, you sent product there, or like just certain people that were more so like food reviewers, or even the Barstool guy. We can segue into that, but between that or sponsored ads or kind of just trying to figure out, do we do demos at the store, this gym? I'm sure it's hard to kind of figure out like really what's a good stick. Like when do you continue to kind of keep cracking at that wall and hope something comes from it, or kind of move on and figure out a different strategy too?
I feel like when you ask me that, and I'm like thinking deep down, because we have, I think at least right now at the size that we're at, small, I don't think that putting money or dumping money into ads, unless, like Brock said, it's going to be, or naturally and organically it was a banger, then potentially it could have good return on boosting it. But as far as like making ads, I've realized that's my like last resort, last option of putting money into. As far as like marketing and getting our word out there, it's been, at least in my interest or my mind lately, it's sending care packages and as personalized as possible to either things like Barstool or retailers around the country. I've sent a bunch recently. Of course, I sent a bunch like 3 days before we got locked down. A bunch. And the shops received them. Some hit me back. And some were like, hey, thanks for the pack. We'll let you know what we think about the product. But there's no way anybody's ordering right now.
I feel like the biggest thing, especially with small business, is just word of mouth.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was going to relate to.
But the problem is word of mouth is like limited because it's not going to, it's not... Even if it's like 100 people in your area or just whatever, and obviously that grows and expands to other people, but it's not the thousands you can immediately reach with $100 thrown into an ad or whatever. But it's going to be more valuable because so-and-so Griffin can explain the product better to, Susie or whoever it is, to his client, and explain, I know Austin, he's local, blah, 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 about the company. You can explain more in that conversation versus an ad, that seems like you're just selling it.
In that scenario, Griffin would be a micro influencer. Like people trust his word because he is their trainer.
Influencer.
And mustache connoisseur. Facial accessory connoisseur.
I put Brock onto many products.
Bidet specialist. Clean bungs.
Sell me on anything.
But word of mouth is key, and I realized that, and Jake and I both have realized kind of that like word of mouth is the long game, but that's going to be what connects the most when you can get people talking, being the guy or the brand, being like, oh yeah, I use Gymflo, or you should try Gymflo. If it's coming from somebody's word of mouth versus an ad that they see, random ad that's going to win all day. So sending it to people like Peter back when he was at District Barbell. I mean, even though there may or may not have been returns on it, it was at least getting our name out there. He was posting, oh man, it tasted great. I remember he was like in love with the flavor and the way it performed. And then other people that do get to try it, hopefully just slowly and surely just chipping Gymflo into the stones out there. You know what I'm saying? Like just throwing our name, hopefully making it stick like spaghetti to the wall. But like, I feel like you're going to have to do that long, slow game.
How do you usually figure out what retailers do you just kind of reach out randomly?
I typically start off by following them, and I'll follow them for a few weeks or a few months because I just don't want to just throw $50 worth of product plus shipping to them if I know they're not going to be a fit. And what I consider a fit for a retail partner is the type of brand that they already carry. So if they're carrying like Optimum Nutrition, a bunch of brands that are carried through Europa, which is like a distributing company that carries a bunch of like big chain, big brand names that like Vitamin Shop, GNC carry, or shit you can get from Walmart, I'm probably not going to work well with that shop because we are a premium brand, we are a niche brand, and our products are going to cost more. They cost more to make, so they're going to be cost more to buy and carry. And those other brands are pennies on the dollar, fucking cheap, cheap to buy, mass produced. So sometimes when I see brands or shops that carry a bunch of brands, which some brands or shops that we're in have those brands, which is okay. They create a wider range, but I definitely look at the brands they carry and then also see how they relate to their customers, whether it be on social media. if they're engaging or if they're just that shop that turns the lights on and says, "Oh, I'm open. Come on
it's
in."
funny because this makes me feel like you know what you're talking about when it comes to doing market research with the company. It's almost like it's hard to, I guess, do the same when it comes to like searching for your own demographic.
My
or
own,
whatever.
yeah, fuck.
I mean, it is different, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and maybe deep down I do know, and
Yeah.
I always assume that I don't know. I'm not saying that because like that's the way you should think. Like me and Jake both like we don't know.
Sometimes
We're
it's
just
hard
gonna-
to apply one thing to another. Like you might really know, like you said, like a retailer and like what you're looking for with that. But it's kind of hard to flip the script when you're like, let's say, the
Yes.
individual on like, what would I be looking for? And like, if I was to see an ad from a supplement company or whatever, what would turn me off? What would make me interested to buy the product?
I'm sure it's the same with like relationship advice. Like, it's easy to give it out, but it's hard to kind of
when you're
like
actually
look at
in
your
it,
own
yeah.
thing, you know,
Yeah.
or like physique critique or
Yeah.
other things like that too.
But there's a good chance, at least the method that I do use of like actually looking into the brand or the shops a little bit, just giving it some effort, not just seeing that they're on Instagram. Oh, I'm going to send some blind shit to them and hopefully they like it. The effort usually does work. I'd say like when I'm saying this, it's better than it sounds. It's like 3 out of 5. Like if I send 5 out, 3 are more than likely going to order from us, you know. And especially if I personalize it, if I follow them, I get to know them kind of through social media, what they like, candy, food, what their personality is. I might send them a hat or send them some candy or some food that they like, or just get to know them, you know, be a personable person. And I think deep down that carries like weight when these other brands are just, hey, buy my shit. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Been following you for a while, blah, blah, blah. Love what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I bought you this or wanted to give you this, blah. You know, it connects. And I'm that type of dude. I care. I would want shit like that sent to me. So that's the way I see it. Like, what would I want sent to me? And
Are you that thoughtful to your wife?
fuck no.
Yeah,
Shut up. Shut
What
up,
was the
woman.
original question?
Shut up.
Or what was the original
How he
topic?
finds retailers.
No.
Oh.
Like that he had
Oh,
written
oh,
down.
Who?
That
You
on
had
your
the
list.
topic written down. What was the topic that we?
The text flash deal marketing problem.
Oh,
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on, and I guess a good transition would be choosing the hard way. And that was like when I mentioned like the long game, the slow long game. Because Jake and I, when we first started Gymflo, before when we met with Joe, and it's me, Jake, and Joe, Gymflo was already created. We were making products out of our house in our kitchen, handmade, mixing it all, flavoring it from Walmart, shaking it up, fucking crazy. Breaking Bad. Well, anyways, we met with Joe. We wrote down a plan, getting legit manufacturing, mass producing it, and getting lucrative. And we had like goals of all quitting our jobs within like 6 months. We were gonna, all right, if we sold this, this, and that, it would X this, X that, and by 6 months in, we'll have revenue of $250,000 a year minimum. So we'll be able to quit our jobs and then start scaling from there, and we'll be at least $5 million a year before too long. And it was like, whoa, 6 months in, we were like, yo, I guess this could be the next 6 months. And then the next 6 months. And then it was like, all right, next year. And then another year. And it's like, dude, you can plan all you want, but realizing that it's going to be a long, hard game, and you have to like what you're doing, obviously, but, you know, expect to take the long way, take the hard way, because that's the only way that's really going to connect and bring long-term success and or, you know, brand. If you're just trying to blow up quick with Facebook ads and social media ads, you're not really going to build a brand or a culture, I don't
Unless
think.
you have the money to blow. Like Ghost kind of came out
If
of
you
nowhere.
have influencers.
But I mean, they have a ton of influence, a ton of money to throw at people, so it's different.
And they definitely built a culture around vlogging, like
Yeah.
vloggers.
Yeah.
And that's their culture, which, you know, respect. They're fucking killing it. But, you know, besides them, not many other brands are going to be able to blow up quickly within a year or two, or maybe even 5, you know, without building a brand and culture from the bottom and building a team and, you know, building it out. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the hard way is the only way, probably.
Once you got 6 months in, or once you got a year in, did you consider, were your goals the same as when you had originally kind of mapped that out, as far as like, oh, within 6 months we'll be able to quit our jobs? A year in, were your goals the same? Not necessarily quitting your job, but as when you first started with what you wanted.
Yes, about a year in, yeah. We were chasing. We thought we were going to be in all these different retailers and accounts. I remember I took every morning before I was personal training full time back then at Gold's Gym. I still do now, kind of, but I was working for a different company. I'd go in like an hour early every day and get on the business computer there, the company computer, and I would Google search, nutrition supplement shops in North Carolina, nutrition supplement shops in Maryland, Florida, Georgia, whatever, and I would print off all these shops that I'd find. Like I had a vanilla folder with like 200 sheets of shops with their numbers, their contact, their website, and every week, me, Jake, and Joe, we'd have a meeting, and we'd be like, yo, all right, we're going to call these shops this week. Let's go. You go and call them. Either people would pick up, hey, the manager's not in today, call tomorrow. Hey, no, we don't know who y'all are. Hey, no, we want brands that have multiple products or like actual, like a whole set of products. No, y'all are too small. We haven't heard of you. Send some products. You'd send product, never hear back from them. Hey, call back tomorrow. You call back tomorrow. No, manager's still not in. Call back tomorrow. You know you're talking to the manager. And it's like, bro, and I didn't just do it for a week and stopped. You can ask Jake or even Joe. And it's like, I did it for probably a few months. And finally it was like, you get kicked in the dick so many times. I was like, all right, that is obviously not paying off. Let me twist and start focusing on things that I can maybe do, which was starting to reach out, which is people around Richmond. And obviously the shops that are in Virginia now, the nutrition corners. And that's when we started realizing that we needed to focus on where we're at, not trying to, outgrow. Like we weren't even like grown in Virginia yet at that time. So we needed to focus on where we're at, trying to build a culture here in Virginia, Richmond. And then from there, word of mouth will spread as people start to move it around, tell their friends, post to social media, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah.
It's kind of like one entrepreneurial course I'd taken in the past that was like talking about assessing your assumptions and then like kind of reassessing your assumptions. Because like a lot of times you might assume you'll get from A to B by doing X, Y, Z or whatever for like your company. Or, oh, we should be here if we just call these brands. Oh, even if we get shot down by a few, they're definitely going to want to hear from us and listen. And so especially with like, from, owning a business and having that bias, you think, oh, it'll be this easy, or not that it'll be easy, but, oh, well, we're taking the right steps. This should work. They will listen to us. Even if we get shot down a couple, we'll have more likely success than we thought. And sometimes you get hit with the truth and it's not anywhere close to what you assumed.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to kind of make your assumptions, assess those, and even kind of reassess then again and be like, is that really the truth, or am I just saying that because of bias? If I really dive into the research, is that actually going to happen? Like, what are the real percentages or rates that I should be expecting? Especially with me being a smaller company, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to kind of face that truth especially when you're first starting out.
Yeah, and back when we created, like, when we all first met, when we started making our stuff legitimately in a warehouse or a manufacturer, we scoped out products. We were like, all right, we want to make this, this, and that. We had a wider range of products, much more products than we have now, but limited quantity. But our products were like, compared to most or majority, I'd say 90% of the brands out there, since we were just starting off, we were creating products that were mega dosed, very unique, like over the top, spending a lot of money on our formulas and making sure that they were efficaciously dosed, if not to the minimum, like above maximum, probably overdosing to where it was like you probably were just pissing out some of it. But we just wanted to know that we were making the best that we possibly could with the money that we had. And obviously we're still doing the case because we don't make any money. Our products are just that expensive. But like we were like, oh, our products we wanted to cover all the bases. All right, so we're starting with a cool brand, cool unique name, cool look. And the products were badass. Like, they were top-notch. There's no way these shops aren't going to bring us in. But it is all about branding and demand, which sucks, but I understand. You got to, put the effort and the work in to build a culture and a brand and demand. But, just having a good product, we realized, and cool name and cool look doesn't really... It doesn't cover it. Doesn't cover it. But, yeah. It's tough up there. It is tough. But, yeah, getting back to, like, price points, I know me and Griffin, we talked about, even with training, like, it's tough to, like, know where to put yourself with training for people, because I'm sure...
It's hard to establish value with personal training to people because, like, I don't know, especially with online coaching, it's weird because you can sell somebody, like, 8-12 weeks for $200. Mm-hmm. And they're getting like the training program. It's a different market though too, because like they need to know how to work out themselves. But then, especially with in-person stuff, it's like if they don't have the financial means or they don't see like the value in it, how are you going to sell them on basically like $90, $100 a week of training?
Yeah.
Like, I always think of it, it's either like the person that's going to stick with you long term is either A, they have like the financial means to do it. Like I train like a doctor, I train another like older woman that, she has a more consistent salary. She's worked her way up and things like that. So like they have the financial means, but I've also, my first client was someone that didn't have the financial means, was barely struggling, like paycheck to paycheck, probably shouldn't have been able to afford 3-4 sessions a week with me, but he knew that like the value that fitness was adding to his life because it made him happier. He was in better physical condition. He had just been a smoker for a long time. And so like if you look at it as, how health and fitness and having someone to properly show you how to, do these exercises, what to follow, have that person to lean on for questions and support. Sometimes if like, you are their only support system, their only source of knowledge or whatever, then it's well worth the money. But, it just depends on how that person sees the money. Because, like, are they going to spend their last dime on you? Or are they going to save that money and, rather spend it on a Netflix subscription or whatever it is? It's just hard to establish that value to someone.
True. And that's what I would say, too, is a lot of people that were more reluctant when I was training at Fangolds, and I would do a lot of the, the initial members and stuff. What I would always try to convey to people who were kind of like, I don't know, putting their feet in the sand a little bit. Because that's the thing, too, is for me, like, I always like to just talk to you. I'm not trying to sell to you, but I'd like to at least, like, feel like I'm shedding some light on kind of the situation as a whole. So what I would try to always tell people is, like, like, I know this is expensive, but it would be smarter for you to do more frequently for less time than to do every other week for a year,
Exactly.
It's better to kind of go all in and then kind of know where you stand at the end of that and kind of figure out what direction you want to go in, having the knowledge and also being able to have that set consistency versus, like just dipping a toe in. Because then I'm sure too, like when it comes to things you're interested in or hobbies, or maybe you have friends that are like this, but like you kind of have too many irons in the fire to where like you might want to learn this, and this. So you like buy a crappy version of this to start off, and then you might get this like little course or something like that to learn something else. And then by the end, like 3 months later, you haven't learned anything. You haven't started anything really. It's just like you kind of just dabbled, but you've never really committed to any of the options.
Yeah, you almost have to like narrow down your focus to like actually see any progress.
Yeah. And getting back to like how you're saying finding the cheaper options because you feel like that's what you need to do, that's your first step, and I see that's a ton of people's options even with supplements. I'm not that serious, so I should just buy the cheaper. I'm just a weekend warrior. I'm just gonna buy the cheap pre-workout because whatever, I'm not all in, or it's tough to relay the value, and I feel like Gymflo, we're still trying to get our grasp on like how to relay how great and how efficacious and beneficial our products are, because there are a lot of brands that are
efficacious.
Yeah.
Nice.
Big word.
You had that one in your back pocket.
Yeah,
just ready
pulled it
to
out.
drop
I was
it
like,
out.
wow, Uno.
You've been in the bathroom. Efficacious.
Nah, my man.
Yeah.
But just because a lot of people, there's a lot of options out there that are cheap proprietary blends that just are very cheaply made, and being proprietary means that they can hide behind a label saying that they have all these expensive, cool ingredients in there, but you aren't sure of the dosing of each individual ingredient, and even if those ingredients are dosed efficaciously, or meaning to the result that you're trying to get from those ingredients. And it could be underdosed, so you aren't really going to feel anything. It's just a bunch of caffeine, and that's why it's a cheap product and it gets you a buzz, but there aren't any other performance-enhancing aspects that could really, bring your training to 110%. It's maybe hitting on 40% with that, cheaper product. And I don't know, that does get me fired up because...
It goes back to what you're saying. No, I don't want to cut you off. What were you going to say?
Well, it gets me fired up because I could make, me and Jake, or the brand, all of us, like we could all probably be working for Gymflo by now if we would have took the cheaper route. Been like, all right, well, let's take our products and let's make sure we're making it as cheaply as possible, just like many of the other brands out there, mainstream brands that you see billions of ads for, because that's how they're able to make all those ads, because they save their money from the product and are able to put it into marketing and just blow up real quick because we're giving you a little buzz, putting some cool fancy labels on it, putting influencers behind it because we would be able to afford to do that. And it's just like, man, like we could, it's just so easy. And it's so like, it gets you drooling a little bit because it's like, man, I could just fool everybody and just make some cheap
Well, it
products.
almost goes back to like your point, like you could either go like you said the cheap route, but reach more people maybe, but it's not as good of a quality product, so that kind of hurts your word of mouth and it kind of positions yourself
does.
poorly. Or you go like the more expensive route. You know you're making the best product you can, but not as many people see the value or appreciate it.
Yes.
And I think the biggest challenge, it kind of goes back to like when we were talking with marketing and positioning yourself, is like when you think of a brand, and we talked about I think on previous podcasts of not discounting the brand because that discounts the value, at least in not in the literal terms, but at least in like the consumer's mind. And it's like when, for example, with First Form, they're pretty damn expensive.
Yes.
And it's not like their products are that much better. I've tried their pre-workouts and they're good, but they're not worth the $2 scoop or whatever it is. But the way they position themselves to be like a premium brand, the type of athletes that they sponsor, it kind of positions themselves in my mind that, okay, if I spend the money, I almost feel like I'm taking a more premium product in my mind. So then I see the value. It's kind of like why you buy Ray-Bans, why you buy full price anything, really, is because you kind of carry that value. It's why you spend whatever on a Rolex. Because
you don't see Lamborghini and Rolls Royce doing discounts,
Yeah. And they probably don't. Well, it costs more than a freaking Camry to build, but
you're going to get value.
Like, someone's going to see the name. It's like when I bought Rogue instead of a cheap brand, instead of Titan for like my garage gym. It's because like the durability and the quality, it kind of carries along with the name. They built that name from making great products. So you kind of, like you said, have to just play the long game and know that if you're making the best product that you can, eventually that value will be perceived and carried on through word of mouth.
Yeah.
And then I think kind of going back into, like advertising or other things like that, it is interesting with a lot of things that, you don't want to assume that the product is like the make or break or like the gear is all that matters. But it is interesting, like sometimes there's that elevated level of like almost self-respect to where, like it goes from something just getting the job done to something that makes you want to actually do the task. Like if you have a really nice guitar, it's going to make you want to take it out and play it more than if you just have an old clunker that's like, I can play the chords, but it's not like
I don't get
something
away from
a thing of beauty.
That's how I talk about it when we talked about clothes, Griffin, is like, whether it's Lululemon or whatever, like clothing brand, like when you pay that full price, you're excited to wear it. So then you're excited to, work out in those clothes, and it just makes that performance, that experience better. Because what you're always trying to, what people pay for, whether it's a product, a concert, whatever, is they're paying for an experience. An experience when we drink this product, an experience when we use whatever microphone or camera. You're paying for that experience. So as long as you can heighten the experience, even if it's not necessarily a better product, it's still kind of adding value to that person.
And it is funny because the last time I went to the Arnold, I had a friend that was working at one of the booths. So I was like, I'll buy a pre-workout and stuff. That pre-workout I've taken 2 scoops of, and it sat in my trunk for like a year now.
Name the brand.
It was a small brand that is from Pennsylvania. But it's interesting just because, before all this was happening and I was waking up early to go to Gold's before I would work out. Before I would work. It's funny just how much like I get like a euphoria of like after my workout or the night before the next morning. I'm like, man, I cannot wait to like go into my car at like early morning, crack the first scoop, have that feeling of driving to the gym and just the bliss kind of set into your brain. That I just feel like other pre-workouts, like it's kind of been like a, man, I could take that, I could not take it. Like it won't make a difference. If it's a chore to
take or it's a whatever, then it's not enjoyable.
Yeah, there's something to be said about like not saying that the gear is all that matters, but like also the feeling of, and we talked about this the other day, of like the switch is flipped, kind of. I'm gonna do the best that I can now that I've taken this product.
If it gives you that nostalgic feeling where you can remember like when you were taking, like I remember I was telling you about this, like I think it was like 2017 or 18, like when I worked at Wegmans for a while. I'd get off work at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. And I'd go straight to Anthem after and train. And not to mention another brand, but I would take Dust, like back before it got banned 3 different times.
Well, DMAA, man. That's going to rock you.
Yeah, it was one of the last products that I think had like original DMAA. And I would just get in a different like world And like you said, the switch was like turned on.
It's almost like Killer Instinct.
And yeah, no, like especially with DMA,
you were like,
yeah,
you're like almost you're cussing everything out like motherfucker.
yeah,
I'm coming for you.
Which maybe we can talk about DMA in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just laser focus. You just have that Killer Instinct. I feel like my eyes have like rolled back like a shark, you know, and I'm just like ready to go.
Just all black.
Yeah. And but point is, like, it's that same feel. Like I remember now, like I can think about like times when I took Pango and like, you know, dry scoop that. And you know, I had that kind of nostalgic feeling. I can remember that kind of like taste, you know, in my throat, and the workouts and the feeling that I would get, you know, at the end of them or during them. And that's when you know it's a great product, or like when you think back to those experiences, you know.
Let's talk about that pre-workout ritual, like you're saying. Like, doesn't everybody have that? Like, when you mention it, I'm like, damn, I know exactly what he's talking about. Where you hit either you dome it, or like me, I 90% of the time mix mine, but I'm driving. I know exactly when I'm getting my car, I start sipping on it, and then I turn my tunes. I crank it loud as shit.
Yeah.
Loud as shit. Like, I'm like deafening loud, and I'm just like focused. Nothing else. I'm like in the zone, rocking. Like, I'm going to a concert.
Even when it's not even like fully cooked in,
yeah,
you like already act like it's already kicked in even
yeah.
That's why when I try a new pre-workout or new product in general, I have to almost like try to not auto like turn those blinders on, because I want to know, is it me or is it the product?
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you just throw it back. You're already like in the zone. It's already like flipped on, and then especially once it hits, then you're just like,
yeah.
You feel like you're like 1.5, whatever you're usually.
Oh, easy. I'm a god.
Yeah.
And I remember too when when y'all first came out with the All or Nothing X, I remember I texted you because I was like, I feel like I'm like controlling myself with controls. That I was deadlifting and I had put like 50 more pounds onto my max and was repping it for like 6 because it didn't even feel like I was like fatiguing.
I remember you were at
felt
Wolfgang's then, right?
Yeah,
I remember
I
you sent me a
was.
video or a text. You're like, yo, I just like outlifted anything I've ever
Put in
done.
this shit.
Yeah. And I remember too when you had when I had the complete stack of like old All or Nothing, Gym NO, Overcome, and Built to Burn. And I was having all of them together because before I had met you, I never really had pre-workout. But this is a funny little story because I just got on the subject of when I was working out at Wolfgang's and I would go there. A lot of times I would take half scoop of All or Nothing and then a scoop of the Gym NO, and then in the gym I would have the Built to Burn and then maybe also Overcome, but maybe usually save that in the after I was driving home.
Yeah.
But that month that I was having all of those, I had posted this transformation picture because I used to be on Reddit more, but I had posted that to the bodybuilding subreddit and was like, this is my split, like these are my macros, blah, blah, blah. This is my like 3-year transformation. And everybody, I had a really good pump vascular with all those products and was looking really 3D. And it's actually one of my lifting playlists on Spotify is the header of one of is the image. But just really good shape. But anyway, people were
I was fucking
commenting.
jacked.
Was that your peak?
Well, yeah, I would
It's
say
peak
so.
form.
And people were commenting on the posts like, you're on pro hormones, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
No.
I was like, wait, am I? Like, is this pro hormone? Like, I don't know.
what do you
Maybe
put in
there's
your shit?
something in there. Because it was like, it was such a transformation. And that's something I would look forward to. Like, every lift is like, I cannot wait to like have everything flowing through me and like get that perfect like visual in the mirror too. Because that's something I don't know if you guys do this, but when I have my pre-workout and listen to my music on the way, I always just think of in conjunction with the song, almost like a video in my head of like me hitting the lift perfectly,
going through the
hitting
workout,
a pose or something
Especially
like
on
that.
leg day. Like if a leg day's coming up, I'm thinking about like just usually weights that I haven't touched in years, or like
that's when I
doing
get
something
the shits.
crazy. And
That's when I'm like driving there and I start thinking of the weight that I have to squat and then I get nervous and then I just need to poop. Yeah.
call that pre-workout dump,
Yeah.
a pre-dump.
Pre-workout poop. Yeah.
Damn, yeah, it's good times, dude. And speaking of like back in the day when you first like took that stack, I remember you made our first video for our social media back then, and that video to this day is probably the craziest I've ever seen you. Your back was like like. What?
I've fallen off.
He's falling off.
Back in the day.
I mean,
I could throw a
I will
big
say,
spin a quarter
I will
mile.
say, like I would say you're probably bigger than that now.
I could be better.
Okay. Well, I know I could be better too. I mean, I'm looking at that. I know I could be better. But like,
he's standing there looking at you.
but it's like, yo, you were like, you look like cement back then. But that was like
Now it's Play-Doh.
Cookie dough.
He's like moon sand.
But it's like,
I know.
you know,
Floam.
but, hey, can you not say you're maybe a little bit more strict on your diet?
No, I definitely was. And also was like
not
just
saying you
killing
look like
myself
straight
in the
fat
gym
fuck,
all
no.
the time.
I'm not saying you're fat as
Used to
fuck.
be
No.
God, now you're a peasant.
Yeah,
It is funny because I look back at that as motivation, but also just like, God, what am I now? Like, I need to get my test levels checked.
All the soy. God damn it.
The soy, the estrogen tap water.
Fuck. Man, I'm so sorry. I'm sweating now. I'm like, man, this dude thinks I'm trashing him on the show.
Actually, there was a point in time, I would say, when I was at like my rock bottom, I did make soy to bring in because I was like, like, let me try. The plant-based was the trend back then. And I just remember sitting in the back room of Bangolds, like microwaving that. And I opened the Tupperware and looked at it like 3 days into eating it. It was just like, I just threw the whole Tupperware in the trash. It's just like, no.
What are these?
Yeah.
What are these?
It's almost like dodged a bullet there of what could have been.
Well, anyways, I'm saying that video that you were in, if I showed to you when we're done,
yeah.
like, you was hard as shit. Hard.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we should do a
Griffin,
repost.
you were hard as shit.
Yeah, do a repost, see if we can get some
Throwback.
likes.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. And you had like, I remember seeing the craziest veins come through your abdomen, your side, your stomach, your back. I was like, yo, motherfucker was pumped. So I mean, I definitely know what you're talking about. When
Well,
you,
I feel like I've noticed that too. Like when I first, because I had only taken pre-workout, and I feel like once you take pre-workout, you never go back. Like you just kind of need that. But anyway, and I'd never taken like an intra-workout, and so I started with Overcome, and I was like noticing like a pump difference, and so I like really enjoyed that, and so that started to kind of be a trend that I would always take on like my upper body days was like Overcome. And I know I've been talking to you recently
yeah,
about trying like carb powders too, and seeing like, because I always thought they were kind of like phony or stupid, but now like taking them, it kind of makes you think about like the experience overall. Like sometimes when I see certain people stacking any kind of brands or products, I'm like, oh, what? I mean, you're throwing like 3 products together. It's like $3 per workout, basically, that you're doing. And I'm like, why are people doing that? That's stupid. Like, make it last. But then I'm, starting to realize like, if like a workout is already like, for me, like 90% of the time, the best part of my day. If I can like maximize or heighten that experience or guarantee it's going to be a great workout,
yeah.
it's worth every penny.
And this is the way I see it. I don't mean to interrupt you, but like,
No, yeah.
the way I see it with supplements, and I try to like explain this. I think I've tried to do it in a video in the past. If you're giving your all 100%, you're doing it. You're eating to the T. You're eating enough calories. You're busting your balls in the gym, making sure you're pushing, progressively overloading in the gym. Why wouldn't you want that extra 10 to 15% with supplements, and especially a premium supplement, knowing that it's covering or bridging the gap on anything that you aren't bringing in through nutrition, whether it's BCAAs, creatine, pump products, blood flow, optimizing your body that extra 10 to 15% that supplements do. I'm not going to say it's 100%. Supplements are what they are. They're supplements. But if you're covering the basis of food and you're able to afford a gym and you're covering all that, then you can afford supplements. It's best to invest and get that
And
extra
even if it's
15%.
not like 10 to 15% literal increase in your strength or muscle, it might be a 10 to 15% increase in your overall, like I said, experience.
Yeah,
like a better workout.
Exactly.
And over time, those better workouts where you feel stronger, you're pushing 5 pounds extra, whatever it is, because of the pre-workout, because you're in the zone, which is a whole other thing. If like the pre-workout can get you in the mood to be more locked in,
that's what I
then
meant.
it's already a better
mentally,
workout.
like
Yeah.
your capacity is going to be that much more because you're in the mood.
Again, like those built up over time where you take Overcome with All or Nothing, or you take, pre-workout in general, like those add up. And so, instead of having, let's say, 8 good workouts, now you have, or let's say, you did 10 workouts and like you only had like good workouts, maybe half of them. If the pre-workout, you took all those and now you had like 8 or 9 of like great workouts, it's worth it. It adds up is my point. So it's like, it's worth it for the experience. It's worth it to pay the extra $1 per workout if you know you're going to get that kind of return, that heightened experience, that heightened lift, the better workout, whatever it is.
I kind of liken it to, there's this boat analogy where if you have two boats that are going the same way and one boat goes 1 degree to the right, then you won't notice it at first, but after an hour passes, after a day passes, then it's going to be much, much further. So if you can just get that little degree, that will then compound on a lot of other things. And also kind of what we were talking about the other day too, of just, your day-to-day stuff, your stuff that you do every day. I would much rather spend more money to improve that quality of things that I'm doing every day, kind of the bed that you sleep on, or the food that you eat, or other things like that. That's going to make it more enjoyable and better for you, and just easier, more convenient. I'd rather spend more money on that and go without in many other areas than to cheap out on a lot of that stuff and then have an extra vacation a year or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, for
I'd
sure.
rather enjoy my day-to-day than kind of just slog through my day-to-day.
Yeah, I'd rather have 100 good days than just 10 great days.
So especially
100%.
for the gym, since that's such an integral part of my life, I would rather have, everything that I can do be the best that it can be, because that bleeds over into so many other areas, I feel like, too. But in the same vein, I feel like, too, talking about the carb powder, I feel like usually my mentality with a lot of gym stuff is what can I go without? I never really have wanted to be the guy that has the belt, the knee sleeves, the this, the that, the squat shoes, to be able to just do your daily sort of thing. Over time, I've kind of come more into that though, just because I like to feel like I can get whatever edge I can.
You put in your time, you put in your time. People start off thinking they need everything at the beginning. True. We've all put in the time. We've been in the gym for a few years now.
And then same with supplements too. I sometimes I feel like a lot of times when people start out, they want the pre-workout, the BCAAs, the this, the that, just to kind of. And I understand that mentality too, because you want to you're gung ho about it. But at the same vein, I feel like there are my mentality usually with that as well is okay, well, what can I go without? I don't want to have to be thinking of 10 different products and supplements and vitamins and equipment and other things like that, when really there's just a certain few aspects of lifting and stuff. I'm passionate about that. I'm not passionate about the other stuff. But I will say, the day at AmFam that we did the carb powder, I was pleasantly surprised, because I was thinking I've eaten a banana mid-workout, I've had a Gatorade mid-workout, and it's there is something to this. Or having Overcome and stuff as well.
And it kind of went back to what I was going to say, and I get the same kind of feeling with Overcome, but it's when I took the carb powder ever, and I did my same kind of arm workout I normally do, I started noticing more of these little veins in my bicep when I hit a bicep flex, and I was my skin just looks that much thinner, the pump is that much bigger, there's that much more blood flow going to my arm, which goes back to what you were saying about the extra 10-15%. In my mind, it's common sense that, okay, if I'm rushing more blood to the muscle, more nutrients, I'm getting that pump bigger, pushing more pounds, whatever it is, over time that's going to add up and make a bigger difference.
Yes.
But the other thing that I was thinking about when you were talking about, you should have your diet and training in line first and foremost by far.
100%.
I almost feel like some products need an experience level before you should even be allowed to take them. Overcome almost is it's different because it's a BCAA product, but as far as something like a carb powder or something that's more specific, or a pre-workout that's higher stem, or these certain things, I feel like you might be able to mask your lack of diet, your lack of pre-workout meal with something like that, but you're not going to really see the added benefit until you have your other ducks in a row. Otherwise, it's just trying to make up for what you're missing.
Yeah. You're not going to want a Lambo as your first car.
Yeah.
Nah. And I made a post about this a few days ago, I believe, but needing to cover and make if you're not eating a well-rounded diet, covering whole foods, micro and macronutrients, not eating a bunch of processed shit, eating wholesome foods, and hydrating, obviously, those are key. You can get
sleep.
You can get a
sleep. People really.
That's where you recover.
Sleep
Is where you recover.
And where you get your energy. I feel a lot too. Yeah.
If you aren't hitting, you can get a fuck ton of shit done just with optimal food and hydration, and obviously sleep. Way more than just trying to slam down a bunch of supplements. But if you're covering those, then that's where you stack on the supplements to bridge the gap in all those little nooks and crevices and bump that extra 10 or 15. I sell supplements. I want you to buy my shit, but I want you to be smart and make sure you're covering your food first, your sleep, your hydration, and then that's when these supplements are actually going to do their best, is when you're covering all aspects.
Well, I saw, and I don't know why, it seems like common sense, but not to keep harping on this other product, but like the Car Powder, like that brand always mentions like, oh, like make sure you're hydrating to get like the most benefit out of this, and it kind of makes me think along like, okay, I'll make sure I'm hydrated. But then I was thinking about it the other day, I'm like, I should be hydrating anyway to maximize any product I take, or just to maximize my performance in general.
Yep.
So it kind of goes without saying, but I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Need more salt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people jump the gun. So hopefully, if anybody is reading or watching this, or hearing it, that if you aren't feeling 100% sure that you're covering all your food and you can't afford the food and the supplements, I hate to say it, get rid of the supplements or stop buying them and focus on the food until there is a time and place where you're 100% on the basics, just the fundamental life basics: eating, sleeping, drinking. Then you can stack on the supplements, and that's when they're really going to knock hard and work the best.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do have. Let's see. That's kind of all my topics. I mean, what else? What else y'all got going on? Anything off the top of your head?
Well, I want to pee real quick, but then I want to talk about DMAA and what we think about like banned substances.
Yeah.
Not like steroids necessarily, but like little ones that have been banned over the years and like pre-workouts.
Let's take a pee break. Let's take a pee break.
Then we just jump in it.
Boom.
All right, so we're back from peeing. And so back with like what we wanted to talk about with DMAA. So
yeah.
I was talking to Maddie and Griffin about this when we were working out like the other day. Was pre-workouts and workouts that I had like a pre-workout with DMAA in were like they're like a different level. Like there's like all or nothing right now. It's great. It gets me in the zone. Like I still get that euphoric feeling, but the feeling that you get from DAA is like where you're just tunnel vision. You kind of get like the chills almost, not like the same feeling, but that same kind of like flushed feeling.
Yes.
And you're just kind of like feeling, you just feel like Thanos, like you just feel unstoppable, and that you can just lift whatever weight. You're locked in, and you can't get out of focus. Like you're there.
I like to
else.
explain it like, for me, it feels like I could just walk through walls like straight face.
That's how it feels. Yeah.
For me, I would say it kind of feels like.
Well, he never had DMAA.
Oh, well,
He's had DMHA.
Okay, never
which
mind.
is good.
It's
but
similar.
It's definitely
not quite.
DMAA is a little bit harsher, like, or more like.
I said it was like 1 1/4. Like what? Like DMAA is like 1 1/4 what DMHA.
Yes, I would say that.
Like it's a little bit on the top. Yeah.
It gives me, or at least DMHA. DMAA would probably be too much for me, truth be told.
It
I don't
can
have
be.
a good tolerance.
Dude doesn't even take a full scoop of Red Apple. Can't handle it.
No. Well, it makes me.
Bump those numbers up,
Yeah,
brother.
I know.
Never
Rookie
mind.
numbers.
But I would say it almost gives me the same feeling as when I've done something that kind of requires all of your concentration that has some element of risk involved. That same feeling you get of like putting your hands up on a roller coaster and then you're like zoned in for the whole drop down because it's like that element of fear a little bit. You get almost that like complete concentration, but also like I'm on for the ride, kind of like feeling in your belly at the same time.
I get that same feeling, but if I was to explain it, it's almost like when you're hitting that big ass hill, almost not outer body, but it's like you don't feel like you're in your body. You feel like a totally different person.
It's just
yeah,
a vessel.
like I remember the workouts with it. I still get similar feelings now, but I feel like I used to get one I get like a handful a month, but now I just get like maybe 1 or 2 a month where I have such a good pump, focus workout where I am like locked in. I don't even have a thought in the world besides like the now.
Yes.
And like all I can concentrate on is like the gym, and I just feel like I'm just like completely locked in. When I took DMAA, I feel like that was like 1 in 4 to every other workout. I felt like that. And the question I want to get into now is like, I know we're just junkies, we don't maybe give a shit, but like what is the problem with that in a product like? And how often do you have to take it to reach a certain side effect that they have to ban it? And like, what is that side effect? Do you know, really?
So the reason they banned DMAA, and this is what I've heard, really haven't read this true reasoning behind it, but there's really not any natural source of it. So if it's synthetically made, usually. So supplements, dietary supplements, usually the FDA bans them, typically, is because there's really no natural source found or no great amounts of natural sources found, because like I think with DMHA, or it might have been DMAA, still High Tech might still create it, which is one of the bigger manufacturers in the country. Like, they just don't give a fuck. They still create, like, they still roll with a lot of ingredients that no other manufacturers will touch because they just have a lot of money to fight it. But they tried to go to court. It might have been DMAA, and they tried to claim that there's a small little village in Africa or some shit. I'm just making this off the top of my head, but like they did claim it was like the small place in some other weird country they found a natural, like very small percentage of a natural source of it, and obviously that's good grounds of claiming that it is found naturally. But I don't know the FDA's ratio of like considering what is like naturally sourced, what's synthetic, and obviously most ingredients anyways are already kind of synthetic because they're like stripped from a natural source. So,
I just wonder like what is going to happen, because I kind of thought about it overall already. Like, I'm taking all these pre-workouts in like my teens and then now into like my 20s, and I don't plan on really stopping anytime soon.
Nobody knows the true long-term effect
because
of all
they
these.
haven't really been that prevalent until like mid 2000s, really at the earliest. So like I'm wondering like what are the long-term effects of taking this kind of stimulant. Now for the most part I feel like it's fine, but there are these weird ingredients or like caffeine overall that maybe from a direct source may not be good for you long-term. But I'm wondering like again, like if I took DMAA like somewhat consistently, like is it really gonna like affect my body that poorly? Who knows? So I guess it's better safer than sorry. But
I think
I don't know.
I mean, this is just me. I'm not a doctor. Don't hold me to any medical claims. But I think there's a lot more. Obviously, there can always be a lot more harsher drugs out there that would definitely fuck your brain up over time, just consistent use. But for most ingredients, I don't believe they'll cause any type of mental deterioration and/or just like mental change or like internal change in your body over time. Obviously, people can abuse shit, overuse shit. But as far as like most ingredients, I don't believe they would cause a really adverse effect.
I don't think so either. I mean, there's things like Tylenol or aspirin
That's what I'm
that
saying,
people
like,
take pretty commonly that they shouldn't. I mean, even if you say you're not supposed to, people are going to do it anyway. Even if you say don't double scoop this, people are going to double, triple scoop it.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know. I guess it's the libertarian like portion of me that just wants to say like just let us do what we want.
I am the same way. I'm on that same wagon with you, being open to most things being legal. And you make your own choice. You're an adult. You make your own choice. If you want to throw your life away, you throw it away. But we're not responsible for you type deal. But it's just, I think, thinking of this way is like we're ingesting a lot of these ingredients. Some of them are proven to show very health beneficial aspects to you if you take them consistently and long term, like some of these blood flow ingredients and cardiovascular ingredients that help with overall vein health or heart health, blood flow. Obviously, increasing blood flow throughout your body is only going to take stress off your heart, off your cardiovascular system. I would think that would improve your life long term. Your heart would last that much longer. So I think these ingredients, even though they're newer and or starting to be more prevalent and popular, since there is no long-term studies as of now, at least short-term, that these things are helping you right now. So how could they really, I guess, ruin you long-term? Besides some of the stimulants. And caffeine, that's been around for forever. So it's just, we're just taking I think as humans, we're evolving. Like almost everybody, like energy drinks. You don't even have to be going to the gym. If you're just buying energy drinks from the gas station, they're already 200, 300 milligrams per can, and people are crushing them. It's like humans are just evolving, I think. It's like this is the new norm. Like what used to be
is like the norm.
It's like,
crazy,
you just had one bang today? You're off day? Like what?
Yeah.
It's crazy how much like the ante's been upped with drinks and stimulants and whatnot. America, I will say America, because I've traveled quite a bit internationally to Iceland, Costa Rica, Cuba, and when we went there, you see drinks with like big black box warnings on them. Contains 90 milligrams caffeine, contains 75 milligrams caffeine, like warning, like big, like obvious. And it's like, man, you didn't see drinks like this over there. 300, like I had to buy, we hit one gas station that sold these, I forgot the name of it, NCCO, some energy drink, BCA drink, almost like Bang, but it was like some European brand. And they had the big black box warning, 75 milligrams per can or 80 milligrams per can. I bought 3 of them and crushed them back to back to back. I was like, what is 80 going to do for me?
Yeah.
They looked at me like, yo, this dude's buying 3 cans? What?
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's serious.
Arrest this man.
I just remember the workouts being so good, and like I just miss that ingredient. And I can't really think of any others that have been clearly banned that I can think of off the top of my head, other than like DMAA and DMHA.
Yeah, DMAA was
But-
definitely a staple, especially
Yeah.
it being in Jacked back in the day, the OG Jack.
Yeah, I know Jack 3D was like one of the first that was like.
I remember that
crazy,
was some of the craziest feelings. Really, that was the only thing in it that really was worth a shit back then. Nobody really knew about blood flow ingredients. That wasn't really a focus back then, you know, with beginning pre-workouts back in the day. Now that like so many more ingredients are being evolved, they're being created, that it's like, man, these pre-workouts would like smack, besides missing a few stimulants from back in the day, the current pre-workouts would blow things like Jacked and other things and explode away, blow them in the dirt with other, you know, performance enhancing aspects that, you know, those back in the day didn't even touch. But yeah, it's weird. And DMHA truly isn't illegal or banned yet. It's still on an advisory list.
Yeah,
so
I've seen it in some products.
yeah, it's still not banned. But I think there's so much fear behind the hammer getting dropped on it that no manufacturers want to have bulk of it, because then they really won't be able to use it. You know, it's wasted. And they just don't want claims, you know. I guess, you know, anybody could buy a product, you know, even ours, you know, they could buy it and 10 years down the road be like, oh, it was that DMHA that got banned. And it's like, well, shit, I guess they could come back on us and our manufacturer and everybody that's related to us, you know. Fortunately, we do have insurance and whatnot, but who knows how much that, you know, that shit never fucking works. I'm just saying, like, for anything, you know, you file an insurance claim, that's a whole other story. You know, they're never fucking looking out for you.
Do you see, kind of a side note, do you see things moving forward to where, like, let's say 10 years down the line, the majority of things will have to be sourced from kind of trademarked ingredients, like a glycer pump,
Yes.
or like a, what is the Bang's patented creatine thing?
Well, so
It's like super creatine.
it's super creatine.
Do you see that kind of becoming the new trend of?
I definitely, well, that already definitely is a trend in the industry now, and that's something that we have been doing a little bit. Not a lot of our ingredients are patented. Some of them are trademarked. So that trademark and patented is two different things. So like, say for example, Gymflo, the name is trademarked. We didn't come up with the name. The word has been around for forever, but we trademarked it so we could only use it, you know, for our brand. If we were to create a patent, would be more so a product or an ingredient. And the patent doesn't mean the name is covered. It just means that particular ingredient, the way something is built or created, is patented and covered and solely owned. So like a lot of companies or brands out there have ingredients that are trademarked, but they're no better than the ingredients that I have. They just paid to change the name on it. I have a few examples, but I'm not even going to mention. I'm not even going to mention those. But like, there's ingredients out there, like I said, that are just trademarked, so they just paid to change the name of it. But it's the same exact ingredient, but with a fancier name. Does nothing else more beneficial. But if it's patented, though, that means a entity owns that ingredient. They do either hold studies behind it, or they have a particular way of making it, a proprietary way of making it, and there's no other routes to get that ingredient besides buying it or licensing it.
Is glycer pump patented?
Yes.
That's what I figured.
It's licensed through, I think it's a company called Pinnacle down in Australia, I think, that we license it through.
And what about, what's that one, the Carnosine? That
Carnosine.
seems like a popular one.
Yeah,
that
that's
seems
beta-alanine, like a form of
Yeah.
beta-alanine, and I don't remember who that is, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
patented. And most of the time when they have it patented, they've either paid or had studies done through universities to show that it is that much more effective than the bare bones carnosine versus just regular beta-alanine, which I don't know if there's a huge difference between those two, but there is a huge difference between glycer pump and just pure glycerol. Because with glycer pump, the patented form, they have either added in proprietary ingredients or formulated it away to where it doesn't clump up like some products do, so it's very fine. So like if you open up a lot of our pre-workouts or any products in the past that we've had glycer pump in, you really rarely ever find it like truly clumpy. Say for example, Overcome, that has pure glycerol in it. So sometimes that will be clumpy, you know, and compared to our pre-workout that usually you just open it and it's fine powder.
Do you ever see, going off that, a return to something like DMA or DMHA, that would be like a trademarked thing that somebody's maybe gotten just up to that line.
Yes.
That's not considered that, but it's their own product or something like that. That
I
would
could
be
see
the
that.
equivalent.
Because I definitely see that because companies are already patenting or crossbreeding, I guess, not crossbreeding. They're using multiple ingredients to create patented ingredients. So like there's an ingredient called S7 that's a pump ingredient or blood flow ingredient out there right now. And it has multiple different sources of ingredients within that one ingredient to create S7, the patented form. Nitrates are a big patented thing right now, nitrate ingredients. So like you have to go through a person that owns the nitrate patent to use those. So if you're, I guess, early to the game, you're able to find a unique ingredient and create it and or, put something together and patent it, then yeah, you're... But I do agree that like the industry is already sort of transitioning into using more patented because they're able to be tracked, sourced. You know where the source is coming from. It's not just
And
coming
I feel
from...
like it looks better to like the consumer
Oh,
when
yeah.
they see those names.
It's like, oh man, it has a big fancy name on it, Glycer Pump or, Vaso 6 or S7. Like, ooh, that sounds unique. I don't even know what the fuck it does, but I want it, Yeah. It sounds way better than 2-amino isoheptane or,
Or like energy blend.
energy blend or isopropyl norepinephrine. Like, what the fuck is that? It looks like 12 feet long. When you shorten it up, throw a fancy name on it, it's like, oh man, I want that because it sounds fancy. It's not some scientific name.
True. And I feel like for me too, like I'd much rather reach for like, Glycer Pump versus like beta alanine or something like that
yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
like, meh.
Yeah, I mean that's the case for a lot of, I guess, people with the marketing. Once you throw a fancy name on it or a cool logo or
True.
trademarked name or patented whatever, it's like, oh damn, it just sounds so much cool. It's going to be that much more effective in my mind.
Yeah.
Which in the case usually paying for patented ingredients, they are going to be that much more effective because they are, coming from a lucrative source, not just from some crazy foreign lab in China.
Want to bump into these questions?
Yeah, let's do it. So we're going to move on. We finished up this, we're hour and a half in. We're definitely time for some Answer the Internet. And if y'all haven't seen this before, this is where we get a little silly. I'm sure Brock handpicked some good questions. And don't take these serious. They're questions as fucked up as you are. And we're all fucked up in some sort of way. So I guess I'll pop off the question.
All right.
Do you know what you gave me?
I don't really remember, to be honest. Actually, no, I do now, but yeah, go ahead.
Debate the internet. If you could make any two people fight in a no-rules cage match, who would you choose?
So when I read this, I thought immediately of Trump and Biden. Just because, politics aside, they've been throwing jabs, like literally, well, they threatened to literally throw jabs to each other. Like I think like a year and a half ago, they were threatening to like fight each other, and Trump was like, I'll knock your ass out. So I'd love to see them just
All right.
one-on-one in like an MMA match.
I have one, and it's probably not fair. There's no way it's going to be fair. It's no rules. So, and I'm totally going way off that. I do like that fight, but you already know Trump's going to win because Biden's fucking half retarded now.
Yeah, he
Trump
is,
could
yeah.
just run around behind
Yeah.
him, and Biden would just keep
he'd be
going
like, oh,
forward.
I
Yeah.
forgot what I'm doing.
Trump put down some Adderall and just
All right,
do it.
I'm going with the Mountain, Thor, versus Mike Tyson.
Oh,
Is that a
would be
fucking match
interesting.
or what?
I like the idea of the Mountain with someone else. I'd almost want to do like him and maybe I don't know. I like the idea of him. And Mike Tyson be a good one.
Just because Mike, even though he's way more than half the difference, in weight and size.
I almost want to do like him and like Shaq, the Mountain and Shaq.
I think
That would be
Shaq would get his ass
interesting.
whooped easy though.
He probably would,
he'd
but
have to
Shaq's
icy hot.
taller and he probably weighs around the same, but a lot less muscle.
Yeah.
I mean, but maybe Shaq in his prime, not like Shaq
Yeah.
now.
I feel like mine's probably not going to be that exciting, but I would like to see almost like
Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Nah.
yeah, oiled up.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I would like
No
to
clothes.
see Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson, like, because Mike Tyson was like the one to be feared because he had so much power and ferocity, whereas I feel like Bruce Lee was much more
Calm.
calculated,
Mm-hmm.
but also could, what was that? 1 inch
Oh, yeah,
punch
finger
where he
punch,
could just
yeah.
put so much force behind
Blow
like, a
people away.
calculated blow. I feel like that would be really cool.
God,
to see.
dude, that would be a good fight.
As well as some kicks involved too from Bruce. So I feel like that would be pretty
That
cool.
would be good.
It'd be real thick. Oh no, you didn't. Did you answer yours? Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
jumped
yeah,
mine. Sorry.
yeah. Okay. Marry, fuck, kill. The hottest girl from your high school. Your hottest teacher. The hottest of your friends' moms.
Shit.
I'm probably killing the hottest girl in my school, and then marrying the mom. Because if they're a mom, they probably got it together, for cooking, cleaning, all mom duties or wife duties, and then definitely, I guess, fucking the teacher. Seems like the perfect scenario.
Dude, why did I hate that you answered it first because I would
Jumped the
probably do
gun.
the same thing. So definitely killing the hottest girl of my school just because she's probably my age and I
almost feel like
don't remember anybody that I would want to marry.
The interesting thing, I feel like the universal, like what most people I guess consider like the hottest girl in the school, is never really that hot. In like my opinion,
No.
Like I feel like it's I don't know. I feel like they're never actually the go-to if I had to choose one.
There's definitely hotter chicks now that I've met.
That's
after
what I
school.
mean. Yeah.
But yes, so not date or do anything.
You went to a
with that
small
one.
school.
Yeah,
too.
I went to a small school.
So your school was
I'm
like
definitely
50 people.
killing definitely the chick that I went to school with because I don't want any parts to do with her and didn't want, whatever. Definitely marrying the mom because yes, the mothery, she cooks. She's been around the block. She knows what to do.
For good and bad.
Yeah, she knows what to do. And of course, she always wanted to bang the teacher. That's a typical high school. It's like, yeah, dude.
Like, you seen That's
at
My
school,
Boy?
like at school, yes, like
You seen the movie?
yeah, that's my
Okay,
boy.
good,
Yeah, Adam
You
Sandler.
seen Griffin?
No.
Oh,
my
you gotta watch
God.
it. That's on the list.
There's Forrest Gump and then there's That's My Boy.
yeah,
it's
that's
like,
my
I'm
boy.
just
Yeah,
kidding.
you gotta watch both of those.
But yeah, definitely bang the teacher. And I'm thinking of the teacher, and she's not even that like. And she's not even like
so
on the
I went
record.
to not to cut you off. I went to a new school that it was only open for like a year when I first went there in middle school, and so we had so many new teachers that were like mid-20s, just fresh out of school, and so I remember we had like 5 or 6 at my school that were like 24 to 28 that were just
Do you
like
think any of them got
amazing.
smashed?
Oh, like 4 out of those got pregnant before
Oh, damn.
before I finished school there.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but they were always like super hot. I had this one in 6th grade that would probably be the one, and she was like kind of a bitch too. But she used to get mad at me and like claimed I was like rolling my eyes at her, but it was just like my contacts would dry up, so I'd have to like blink and fix them.
You liked it.
And yeah, I liked kind of being like, oh yeah, I was kind of like, give me detention,
Yeah.
please. But the scenarios never play out how you imagine
No.
them. So, but yeah.
I never really had any hot teachers, truth be told. And even the ones that I feel like were like the people in my grades' favorites, I always feel like, man, like she's got like a pretty flat overall body, like big head, other things like that. So I feel like I'd probably just kill her.
Yeah.
And then thankfully it says hottest girl from your high school, not from your grade. Because the hottest one from my
You
grade
like the young ones.
now
Yeah.
just like works at like Sheets and smokes cigarettes.
Yeah.
So it's just like, damn, what wasted potential. But I would say, fuck the hottest girl from my high school. But let's not assume that she's in high school. Like, let's just tread legality here and just say that like the same peak back then, but at the current age
Yes,
now.
current age,
Because I did hear that the hottest girl from my high school was a huge nympho as well, and would just like in the car, like in the woods behind the school, other things like that with whoever she was with at the time. So I feel like it would just be like, if I could just have a few here and there of like a week or so of just,
Yeah.
like all my fantasies lived out
Knock 'em
or something like
That's
that.
sometimes what I thought about. Just let me get it all out
Yeah.
within like a week, and then I'm like,
And then
yeah.
marry the hottest of my friends' moms because she makes great food. They've got
Stifler's mom.
a well kept up house. Like they've, I don't know, just got it all together. And also like, well, I don't know. I feel like she could like, I could be like, all right, bitch, or something like that, but it would be taken well, you
All
know.
right,
Like
Sheila.
she's
Yeah.
kind of in that generation
Johnson.
before everybody started getting offended over that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
To where
yeah.
I'd be like, like, that's great and all, but why is this chicken dry or something like that?
And she's like the
she'd
type
be like, oh, sorry.
And she's older. She's the type that probably smashes a couple hard liquor drinks at night. And you'll have a good time.
That's
Yeah.
true.
She knows how to handle some meat too.
Not to get too off topic here, but one time I can't remember what I was helping around the house, And she went to pick up some box, and I saw she had like a leopard print thong, and it was just like that's just
He's
been
got such a
imprinted into
specific
my
woman in
mind
mind.
too. To where
I don't really have
When
someone
you
that
saw that,
specific.
were you like, okay?
no, because I used to just like dream about like. Well, you've been growing up quite a bit. But back then, I'm just like, oh, come on, let it happen.
Say
So I
it.
would marry her.
Say it.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
Good.
All right, we on to the last question.
Moving on.
All right. Would you rather lose your ability to taste food or to feel sex?
Reread. Hold on.
Would you rather lose your ability to taste food or to feel sex?
Oh shit.
This might be a. This,
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I
don't like it.
It's like would I rather be
Look at
shot in
the
the head?
long-
Yeah, I know.
the long
The
gap.
long pause.
Damn.
You want me to go first?
I don't want to go first, man.
I'll go first. I feel like I'd rather lose the ability to feel sex. It's probably an unpopular opinion, but think about how often you taste food compared to how often you have sex.
But that's something I look forward to, though.
It is something you look forward to.
More than food sometimes.
But
most
at the
times.
same time, I don't know. Food, I feel like, it's just like, I feel like sex, depending on, whether you're having a good day or a bad day, it might be a short period of time or it might be a longer time. But at most, it's only a small portion of your day, okay? Compared to food, you're eating all throughout the day. It's multiple hours. It's not,
This is a good point, because I would probably say the same thing for two reasons. One, I feel like sometimes if you've had like a very good like memory of certain time of having sex, then sometimes the rest, like you always compare it to that. Like it's almost like
You're
if you
right.
had the best
Yeah.
chocolate chip cookie, whenever you try the other chocolate chip cookies, sometimes you just doesn't
Revert
hit
back.
like it used to be. So I would say, there would be potential to even have equal or better in the future, but I feel like you always have that memory of like, man, that used to be good, or certain things like to kind of just have a good recollection of if you lost that ability. Another thing I would say too is if you lost the ability to feel, you could continue to give one after the other, after the other, after the other, and just feel like, I'm ready to keep going.
You know what?
because
When you were
wouldn't
talking
lose.
about that, it made me think, I guess if I can't feel it, I'm not going to, nut as fast. So there's that. So you're kind of probably, like you said, going faster.
But am
or
I
longer,
even
whatever
going
it
to
is.
be able to get it up, though?
Well, let's say you did, okay? But then I'm wondering, could you even get to the point of finishing if you can't really feel
So
it?
I guess thinking this, because if you think about sex, it's not really, at least the initial feelings aren't down there. It's all mental.
True.
Like the
Yeah.
build up. It's like, oh shit, I'm about to
Yeah.
get it in.
Yeah.
Like that's and you get euphoric from that usually, and you're like, oh man, but like it's that combined with the down there, the down under.
Yeah.
That's like
There's
the
a good visual
trifecta.
element as
Yes.
well. to
So
where
I
it's
don't know.
like, feel
Maybe
like
I
if
could do it.
lost
Maybe I could do it.
I could still be like, what a spread in front of me.
Yeah.
Nice spread.
I know.
It's like art. You get to enjoy
Oh, yeah.
art mentally.
Nice.
It's fine looking spread down there.
But when me and my friend were younger, and when we would be waiting for our soccer games between, we'd sometimes go into Barnes and Noble, depending on where it would be. And like we were like 13, 14, but like run into the sex section and be like, let's see how many we can like look at of these books before we have to go back out onto the field.
What would be in the books?
Yeah,
Well, it would be like different positions or like photo
They
stuff.
had
Oh.
a Barnes and Noble?
Yeah, it's
So,
like
like-
a small section near the bathroom.
like Kama
Next time you're
Sutra
over
type
there.
shit.
Yeah, that kind of
Gotcha,
stuff.
Gotcha.
But I always think about there was this one passage in this one book where it was like
Passage.
the man admires her posture, steps slowly forward, and penetrates. And so I always feel like I'm like, I do admire that.
Admire the posture.
Yeah. Quite the spread you got there.
They just turn that into
He
street
places
art.
her ankles
know.
along his shoulders. Yeah.
Like a primal like
Yeah.
panther.
Heels above head.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. I
Good
told you
series.
those were good questions.
Picks,
Yeah.
Good picks.
I
Yeah.
know.
Well,
Wait, you didn't answer. Would you say
I didn't. So now that Brock and we've sort of talked it out, I definitely would probably. I do enjoy food, and since that is majority of our lives, yes, I would probably have some sense of depression. I'd have to find some outlet, whether it's just start to like find another hobby of like some hand stuff or some butt stuff. I don't know what I'd have to get into. I don't know. I'd have to adapt. I'm not going to turn anything down. If it feels good, it feels good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't turn nothing down but my shirt collar.
Or you could be eating a delicious steak and like, this is
Right on
worth
the back.
it.
Yeah.
And then that sends you over.
Last bite.
Oh, it's so good. This was worth it.
Dessert time.
But I feel like if I made that decision, like I would have to go to like a 5-star restaurant every weekend
no.
of just like, this is what I signed up for.
Sit down and you go, what can I get for you? You know what kind of condition I got?
Let me tell you a little something.
Yeah, let me tell you a story.
Yeah, you'd always have to do the finest. Like you'd have to level up. Like that would be your.
I
nut.
know. That's a good point.
Yeah. But anyways, good questions. Anyways, this is the All or Nothing show and the end of it. If y'all have any comments or topics you'd like for us to go over in the next one, make sure you drop it down in the comments below. And follow us on Instagram or social media. I'm going to drop all that in the description below. And we will see you guys next time.
See ya.